Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining. We really appreciate it. This is going to be really, really interesting. If you miss any portion of this, we are recording it. But Galapagos in itself, we could talk for days, right? If you've ever been, you'll know it's very even difficult to scratch the beginning of the surface. It's a world of wonder. It's amazing in itself. It's a whole different universe. But a lot of people don't realize that other things happen in the Galapagos, like people live, people have everyday lives there. There are people that make craft beer. There are people that have organic gardens. There are, things beyond tortoises and birds and islands to see. And I think a lot of that sometimes gets missed when you just do a cruise and you don't consider a land-based stay. So we wanted to bring our team here from Art Experiences and bring the guru of the Galapagos, as I think everybody would probably refer to her. We have Monica from the Art Experience team. She lives in the Galapagos. She has a child who's living there, who's being raised in the Galapagos. I always say this with such wonder because we don't always think about that. We don't always realize. We think about it just as a tourist destination with cruise stops. But there's so much vibrancy and so many different ways you can experience this amazing place. So I'm going to turn it over to Monica because she can tell you. Hi, Stephen. Oh, Stephen always checks in. Thank you very much for being here. We are going to turn it over to Monica because she speaks so beautifully and so passionately about what she does and about what you can experience and how the Art Experiences team can bring you a whole new slice of life. So I would just also encourage everyone, just check your mics. If you could just make sure you're muted, just so everyone can give her the benefit of hearing her fully. And I'm going to now. So over to you, and thank you for being here again with us.
Thank you, Gabby. Good morning, everybody. I'm very happy to share this time with you and to share a little bit of our experience here in Galapagos. Like Gabby said, there is something beyond the liveaboards. However, we're going to have a little bit of liveaboards also, but I would really like to share with you something extra, maybe breaking some myths also. So just to start with, we're gonna go through like 6 points. First of all, the seasons, because this is something that everybody's always talking about, Galapagos seasons. And we know we just have 2 seasons here. Some land-based experiences, some day tour experiences. We're gonna see some differences there. The visitor sites in populated areas and visitor sites for liveaboards, and of course, regulations. So just to start with the seasons, in Galapagos, we only have 2 seasons. Summer and winter. We always refer to like winter versus summer. What are the differences? So summer, like we all know, basically goes from June throughout November. But the weather conditions during this time of the year in Galapagos, it's more like what we call garua season. It's more drizzling rain, not very bright blue skies, but more humidity, colder waters. The Humboldt Current and the Cromwell Currents arrive the archipelago, so that cools down the temperature of the water, brings some winds, and of course, we have more marine life, but the weather tends to be a little bit colder. Although winter, what we call winter here, we all know winter, but that goes from December throughout May, the weather changes completely. We get bright blue skies, higher temperature. The water temperature also rises a little bit. You get warmer seas, less marine life, but you have other type of life inland. So this is the classical picture of the islands: white sand, bright blue skies, the palm trees on the beaches. So this is basically the weather differences. So summer, colder; winter, warmer, just like upside down than we normally know. Just to give you an idea, we're not going to get through all of this, but this is a chart that we have made based on our experience, on what we know, on what we live in the Galapagos. We can share with you this also so you can get a deeper view. But you can see in the months from January throughout December, and what I was telling you, basically June, July, August, September, October, November, temperatures, the weather temperature tends to reduce a little bit, slow down. It doesn't mean that it's cold. We are never cold in the equator line. The water temperature also reduces a little bit. We get more winds. We get the sea strength is also stronger during these months of June throughout November. As you can see, we get like rougher seas, Water visibility is high because it's colder. Remember, when we get cold water, we get higher visibility, but sea can be a little bit rough. And well, the sunlight in Ecuador, we get 12 hours of light, 12 hours of darkness. However, during the winter season, that it's like warmer here, we get more hours of clear sky timing. So I'm gonna get through, and after when we finish, we can like open for questions and other insights that you may want to know. Okay, so now land experiences. When, as Gabby was saying, remember that here in the Galapagos, we have 4 inhabited islands. That means that we have communities living here. And what we would like to share, it's like, what is people doing while everybody's doing tourism, basically. But as you can see, our programs, our activities share these nature experience with the daily life, with the lifestyle of people. And we can go from artists, like artists that are inspired in the Galapagos nature, inspired in the culture of Galapagos, that will share with us what they do and will teach us and will challenge us to do things with them. Also, peoples in the farms, imagine growing cocoa in the middle of rocks, or just harvesting coffee with tortoises. These are experiences that we can only have it here inland, like in Santa Cruz, in San Cristobal especially. And also we have these activities, experiential activities in Isabela Island, like brewing craft beer right there with a white sand beach. And yes, what do people do here? Like you see these, we have these entrepreneur that has changed the glass bottles that coming from mainland. They turn them into glasses and art pieces. So this is part of the entrepreneurs that we meet and that we have here that can complement the nature visits. But we also have adventure, a little bit of adventure that can be shared and can be participated by all range of people, like experienced people and non-experienced people, like children. And we go through very special areas where you can really feel what the Galapagos is in terms of nature privately, just as the people you see like kayaking there. There is this Itabaca channel in Santa Cruz, or doing these surfing lessons that can be done by kids and up to adult people, because the areas that we use are very easy, like very safe. And the people that we work with, the local people we work with, some of them, for example, in terms of kayaking and surfing, they learn to kayak and to surf even before learning to walk, because they were born here by the sea. So these are some of the land experiences we have here in the islands, in the inhabited islands, that we can easily share with the other experiences that we're gonna see now. So what are the day tour experiences? Probably you have heard that sometimes you can go to different islands, to uninhabited islands on a daily basis. And we have different places we can go, islands where you can only experience the wildlife magic from living from Santa Cruz, for example. So just to give you an idea, just so you know, what the islands, the places, the islands you can visit from the different destinations are starting from Santa Cruz. You can go to Bartholomew, probably some of you are familiar with. This is only 2 hours navigation from Santa Cruz. We're gonna see later how the boats are yachts that they handle, like maximum 20 people on the boat, between 16 and 20 people, between 1 and 2 naturalist guides. And you leave from Santa Cruz, let's say from our base island, and we go to this destination to experience the wildlife. What are the highlights, the wildlife highlights we see? We have Galapagos penguins, sea lions, blue-footed boobies, marine iguanas, Galapagos hawks. Every island, each one of these islands have their specific wildlife that can be seen. So normally we always ask, like, what would you like to see the most? And we can adjust. And when we do an add-on program like a cruise and a liveaboard, we're always taking care that what are the islands that you didn't visit on a liveaboard, on a cruise, that we can complement with a daily basis. We all the activities, these these day tours, they complement a walking, a hike, and snorkeling. So this is a very integral experience. Another island that you can see, but that you can visit from Santa Cruz, if you are on a land-based, it's North Seymour Island, a beautiful island. It's very easy navigation, 1 hour, very close. The walk is very moderate, it's flat, you don't have to go ups and downs. Some boulder, because the paths, you know, here are very natural, but you have a lot of wildlife there. You have blue-footed boobies nesting, you have Galapagos sea lion there, land iguanas, marine iguanas, flamingos when you visit Bachas, and frigate birds nesting. And you see them there. You see the pictures that you're seeing now, it's like taken by us, and not more than 2 feet distance that you can see. You can easily get beautiful shots with mobile phone. And the snorkeling also can, depending on where each boat has an itinerary, they can do it either in the cliff in Seymour or in Bachas. The cliff can be a little bit more demanding because it's a cliff snorkeling, and the beach, and the other one in Bachas is like a beach, but it's not hard. I mean, everybody can do it. It's very easy. All the boats have all the facilities to go down in the water, to come back to the boat. So it's nothing that, I mean, everybody can do it. The other island that you can visit from Santa Cruz is South Plazas. It's also a beautiful island. 1.5 hours navigation can be demanding, especially during rough seas from June throughout November. When there's a lot of wind, there's more wind, it can be a little bit rocky, but it's manageable still, because the boats are single hulls, big boats, very heavy, that they go breaking the waves. So it's not that you're gonna have problems while navigating. Again, a lot of wildlife, land iguana, sea lions, marine iguanas, Nazca boobies, swallowtail gulls, and the snorkeling also is very nice, it's stunning. Clear waters normally, because when you do snorkeling from a cliff, you don't have the sand movement, so the water tends to be very clear throughout the year, not even if it's necessarily only the clear water, the summer season, but also when the water is warmer, you still can see life, because we don't have the sandy bottoms that makes a little bit murky the water. And Santa Fe, which is very important here to mention, that in Galapagos, we have 2 modalities to visit Santa Fe. Santa Fe, it's normally promoted like experiential fishing activity and the day tour activity that I'm showing right now. The day tour activity, it's for our experience, one of the best experiences, because you actually take off in the island. You disembark in the island, and you have the chance to walk around the island and see, and you can see from very up close, the endemic land iguana of Santa Fe. This is a very, as you can see the picture, very big iguana, like the land iguanas you can see in the other islands. But this one here, you can only find it here. It's a little bit bigger and a little bit paler than the regular land iguana. And you can only see it here, and only at the day tour activity. If you take like the snorkeling activity or the experiential fishing activity that normally people also offers, you don't disembark in the island. So you just go around the island, make snorkeling around the island, and you disembark elsewhere, but you don't really get to see the land iguanas. So this is something very important to consider when people is offering like a day tour to Santa Fe or experiential snorkeling, experiential fishing in Santa Fe. Day tour, you disembark. Others, you don't disembark. So what is worth it really here is to see the wildlife inland. The snorkeling is incredible. There is a huge colony of sea lions in the island. So it's very common to see sea lions, and especially baby sea lions or the little cubs when the females give birth, swimming with you. They are very playful. So it's a very interesting experience. And this is it was from Santa Cruz. But also we have day tours. We have these experiences leaving from San Cristobal. Remember, we have 2 airports that connect Ecuador mainland with Galapagos. The airport of Baltra, which is north of Santa Cruz, and the airport of San Cristobal. San Cristobal is the capital city of Galapagos, of the province of Galapagos. And the airport is in San Cristobal. So normally to make like these integral visits, we can start from Santa Cruz and leave from San Cristobal, so you can have a broader experience being in land-based. You don't have to be just in one island. But of course, there are destinations that you need to leave from the specific islands, either Santa Cruz, like the ones we've seen before, or San Cristobal that we're gonna see now. So from San Cristobal, you can visit Española Island. This is one of the most incredible islands you can see and you can visit on a day tour basis. This is 2.5 hours navigation from San Cristobal. The hike is moderate, sometimes can be demanding, but normally it's flat. You don't have ups and downs, but it's boulder-like. But you have the chance to see waved albatross. Remember, this is the only place where waved albatross stop. Waved albatross are these big birds, massive birds, that they are always on the ocean. And they just come to land, to Española, for nesting, for breeding and nesting. And this happens ends of March until December. From December until March, they start leaving. So it's mostly possible that we don't see the albatross there. But from March throughout December, we can see the albatross there, either grooming or during the mating season also, or even when the babies are there. So it's quite amazing experience. We also have sea lions, blue-footed boobies, Nazca boobies, the Galapagos hawk. So it's like a Disney jungle ride, but for the Galapagos Islands. And the snorkeling is very interesting, quite different than the islands in the northern part of, for example, in Santa Cruz, because remember, Española, we're going to see a map in a minute. Española, it's towards the south, the southeast of the archipelago. So Española is one of the oldest islands in the archipelago. So being in the south, you get colder water, but a lot of life underwater. So you have a lot of these algae, colorful anemones, and beautiful marine life. And of course, sea lions all over. Well, as you see, anemones, sea turtles, and a lot of school of fish, colorful fish going around. The other place we can visit from San Cristobal is the Kike Rock. Probably you have heard about this. Some cruises include on their itineraries, some others are not included any longer. But Kike Rock is a very interesting rock in the middle of the sea. But what makes it so interesting is that there's a channel and by the head of the lion that we call León Dormido, like the sleepy lion in Spanish, and where you have this cliff undersea and you can see a lot of life. And you can even have chances to see hammerhead sharks just by snorkeling. So this is more a water activity. You just like you don't disembark in Kike Rock, you disembark in a beach nearby. But the snorkeling experience here is is a very unique activity. So these are the yachts that make these day trips activities. As you can see, most of them are single hull yachts. We only have one that it's a catamaran, but that does Kike Rock only. The other ones do the longer navigations, are very comfortable boats. They navigate at a decent pace. They have a lot of equipment. You have like solar areas that you can go enjoy the navigation outside, but also you have very ample spaces inside. Meals are served on the boat, as they have a very big lounge and dining area. So this is basically the yacht we're using. We're not going on small boats or small like fishing boats. These are like big yachts that take you to the daily activities. That's why it takes the maximum 2 hours, 2 hours and a half maximum navigation, the longest distances, but are pleasant navigation. You're not going like bam, 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 like jumping there. You have a very nice navigation. So let's continue. Now the visitor sites in the inhabited islands. We're gonna go through like the most popular visitor sites, like for starting in Santa Cruz Island. Remember, Santa Cruz is the core island, is the central island from where everything started. And we have like very popular visitor sites that are accessible. That includes Tortuga Bay. This is a white sand, beautiful white sand beach that you can access walking or by boat. You have pit craters, ideal for bird watching. You have like regular different trails around that you can go, and you can sometimes even find the vermilion flycatcher, this iconic bright red bird that was nearly extinct here, but still you can find some there at pit craters in the different trails. Las Grietas, which is a cliff in Santa Cruz, and Garrapatero Beach and Divine Bay. But these visitor sites, something that it's very interesting, and why I wanted to show you here, is that sometimes people like includes a lot on it, but these are activities that you can either go by yourself or we can also include in the activities. We normally like leave it at leisure, but we always recommend it to avoid weekends to visit these places, because remember, these are sites that are in the inhabited islands, where most of us, like regular citizens, we go during the weekends. In Galapagos, in the inhabited islands, we don't have cinema, we don't have stadiums, we don't have malls or like big shopping malls. So these are the places where we go as regular citizens. So we go to Tortuga Bay, we go to the Gemelos or the pit craters. So this tends to be very, very populated or very crowded during the weekend. So these visitor sites in the inhabited islands, we recommend it to go like during weekdays, early morning, like avoid weekends, because then you can really experience the nature part of these close areas. So normally we can either include it in the itinerary, and if we include it in the itinerary, we like go early in the morning to guarantee that you're going to have a really nice experience and not be in the crowded area places. We also have, for example, in Isabela Island, we have the Wall of Tears, the Sierra Negra and Volcan Chico. We have Tintoreras Islet, Los Túneles, Concha Perla, and these are very interesting places because you can really have access to sceneries like you cannot see elsewhere. Like in Sierra Negra and Volcan Chico, it can be a quite demanding walk, all day morning walking, but it's going to be like walking on the moon. Very, very surrealistic sceneries, not much wildlife, but you will be able to see this scenario of the lava flows and holes and sinkholes there, and these parasite cones being there that tells us the millions of years like Galapagos was formed. So are very incredible experiences, and also that fits for people that is willing to do more of an activity day, walking, hiking around. The Wall of Tears takes you to all the history, the human history of the Galapagos, and you see this massive wall that was built by the prisoners during the penal colony in Isabela. And Tintoreras, Túneles are more wildlife, not much walk, but more wildlife. You see white-tip reef sharks, penguins, the blue-footed boobies, and concha perlas, and incredible snorkeling there. Again, this is better all year round. I mean, it's good all year round. However, the closest to the town, to the main town, the destinations, the sites are better. Avoid weekends. And early morning, as always in Galapagos, is the best time. And you can see there's a lot of wildlife that you can also find in these places. San Cristobal, as I told you, it also has beautiful places to visit, very different places. Like each island has from each other. Like in San Cristobal, you have more access to different sort of beaches, like Carola Beach or La Loberia. Each one has a specific beauty, a different touch. You're not going to see all the time the same beach. In La Loberia, for example, you have a massive colony of sea lions. They are there. In Carola Beach, you also have sea lions, but you can even see sometimes blue-footed boobies, pelicans. It's different. It's a broader beach. It has a lot of differences. Tijeretas, it's a beautiful place for snorkeling. Very common to see sea lions and sea turtles. Puerto Chino, you have to travel a little bit longer, but also you have some walks that you can go all the way up and see from above the beach. And the Junco Lagoon, for example, is the only freshwater lagoon we have in the Galapagos. So believe it or not, in Galapagos, difference from other islands, like volcanic islands like Hawaii or in the South Pacific, we don't have waterfalls, we don't have lagoons, we don't have rivers, we just have the sea. We're just surrounded by sea. But El Junco is the only freshwater lagoon. And it's beautiful because sometimes you can even see the frigate birds going down there, like getting this freshwater wash there, like skimming in the lagoon. So it's very interesting. In all these destinations, in all these visitor sites, you can do, some of them you can do kayaking, some others you can do surfing, some you can go biking. So there's a lot of activities you can do around these sites. Opuntia Garden, that I almost forget, this is a brand new destination site that it's been opened. It's for people who's really willing to walk. It's a beautiful walk through Opuntia, through these gigantic cactus forest, and that you reach the shoreline. So these are different things that you can find, like just by being here, being in land. You don't need to take a cruise. There's a lot of people that they are not willing to stay all the time on a cruise. They want to have this feeling of freedom, of being in land, just don't need to get to be like locked up in a single place, but also have the time to see, to enjoy the wildlife. So these are the best alternatives to do. And now we're going to go to what we know, everybody, the visitor sites for liveaboards. And we're not going to go through all because then it will take like for ages. But some of the most iconic places, and this is like the itinerary of the Galapagos. So this is normally what the boats do. They go around from one place from one island to another. And what normally the cruises do is they split the archipelago in three regions. Like you visit the South Islands, the Southern Islands. You can visit the Central Northern Islands, that includes Genovesa, or you can visit the West Islands. Some itineraries, and probably you have seen if you are more familiar with the itineraries, with the cruise promotion, they either give you itinerary A, itinerary B, itinerary C, or West itinerary, East itinerary, North itinerary, but this is basically how it's distributed. Southern itinerary that goes from Santa Cruz, San Cristobal, Santa Fe, Española, Floriana. Central can be, some of them can include San Cristobal because of the airport, but basically go Santa Fe, Santa Cruz, Plazas, the central northern islands, including Genovesa, and the western ones are, of course, Isabela, Fernandina, that are the farthest island and the youngest islands. So just to go very quickly, Fernandina, like going from the farthest to the closest, Fernandina is the farthest one. You have species that you won't see anywhere else, like flightless cormorants, well, penguins that Isabela is basically where you see the most. Very easy moderate, the walks are very easy moderate. You see, normally they include northwestern islands. What are the highlands? Normally March, we have the iguanas nesting, we can see them nesting, and penguins, they have a very high activity. And July, cormorants, the courtship of cormorants. Remember, cormorants are these flightless birds that are endemic to the Galapagos Islands. Then Isabela Island, this is something very interesting. Isabela Island, for the liveaboards, that visits only the northwest area of Isabela. When you do the land base, we go towards the southeast part where the population is, where the town of Puerto Villamil is located. But when we do leave aboard, we visit the northwest part, where we go specifically to Vicente Roca, Tagus Cove, or Urbina Bay, where you can see flightless cormorants again, sea lions, penguins, land iguanas, frigate birds. So these are like the highlights of the islands. Then Santiago, it's a very interesting island also, because here there are different sites that you can go on an itinerary. It can be Buccaneer Cove, Puerto Egas, Sullivan Bay, or Sombrero Chino. Something very interesting is that Sullivan Bay and Sombrero Chino are destinations, are sites that can be shared with a day tour activity. When you go to Bartolome, some of the boats, depending on the itinerary that is granted by the national park, can also include either Sombrero Chino or Sullivan Bay. So you share the wildlife experience. And then here you have, again, marine iguanas. But Santiago, what is very beautiful about this island is that here in Sullivan Bay, you see in the picture here with the cactus, you have these big platforms of lava flows. And it's amazing because that really brings you to this feeling of going to the center of the world, like these Julius Verne's stories, and you see the cracks and you see the flows of the lava, and it's like if you keep looking, you're going to reach the center of the planet, the earth of the planet, the core of the planet. So our very special sceneries, and also added all the wildlife you can see, like these endemic lava lizards and blue-footed boobies outside, and the sea lions around, and the snorkelings are very, very interesting also. Bravida Island is an island that only, as most of the others, only seen on the cruise. We have this red beach, beautiful beach, very different than the others. And you have good chances to see Galapagos hogs, sea lions. So as you can see, this is more of wildlife. All these liveaboards, like Gabby was saying in the beginning, is more dedicated to wildlife. But it's important also to see what is going on these islands, so you can have a better experience. Like, you want to see sea turtles? Okay, we're going to see what is the itinerary that fits the best during the time that you want to go, so we can make sure you can get more chances to see what you're looking for. You know, traveling in Ecuador, there's a key word that we say: expect the unexpected. However, knowing the islands, knowing the behavior of wildlife, and knowing these highlights, we can adjust and make possibilities bigger and more accurate. So Genovesa Island, also to continue with, I have to say this is one of my favorite islands, because here you can see all the boobies in one island. You see, this is one of the only places where you can see red-footed boobies there, just walking. You just pass by, excuse me, red-footed boobies we're going through. As a beautiful snorkeling also. The walk is moderate, demanding, because here in Prince Philip's Steps, you have to walk a lot of steps. So probably that could be demanding for some people. But the island, the walk, it's normal. It's not easy. I'm not going to say it's very easy, but it's flat except for the steps. And Santa Cruz Island, when you do the islands, the liveaboards, you don't only visit the highlands here where the giant tortoises are, but you also visit, there's visitor sites for the liveaboards, like Islote Eden or Cerro Dragon, or Black Turtle Cove, because Bachas you can do when you do Seymour, but where you see very special wildlife that, like, for example, here only in Cerro Dragon, you can see the land iguanas. So it's very nice because you're walking there and you see the land iguanas. So these beautiful yellow dragons, they're walking. So this is, again, what are you interested in? What the itineraries are they have on their offer, and what can we like adjust to make the experience like complete. It's not just coming to Galapagos, take whatever itinerary, but that's what we know of the places, when the animals are there more active, or where they are, like what are they doing, so we can adjust to the interest of what you're doing. In San Cristobal, the same thing. Remember, San Cristobal, you have the airport there. You can arrive to there, but you cannot always go to the same visitor sites. You go when you are in a land base or when you are in a cruise. In the cruise, you can go to Cerro Colorado, for example, Punta Pit, Kiki Rock. You can also do from a base, land-based activity. Punta Pit, you can also go from a land-based activity. And Cerro Colorado, not because you go all the way around. You could go by road, but you won't reach really the point, but still. So these are the activities, this is the wildlife you can find, and yeah, of course, the highlights we have for the island, no? More or less activity of wildlife. And Floriana Island, this is the core of the human history of Galapagos. You know, all these myths and histories about the famous Barnes and all the magic of the human history that gave origin, and we can say gave birth, is a mysticism of the Galapagos inhabitants. They started here. So when you do a leave aboard, you actually visit the post office bay, which is where the Barnes first established. So that gives you this spirit more than seeing all the wildlife. Get this spirit of the human history and all the mysteries of the islands, but also complement with wildlife. We normally, in land-based activities, we don't really include Floriana as a land destination because the town here, Puerto Velasco Ibarra, they don't have a lot of offer in terms of hotels and lodges. So it's not for everybody. There are hotels there, but are like very basic. So it's not for everybody. And that's why in this case, we were not really offering, because sometimes people come with very high expectations on a land base, and you have specific hotels in Santa Cruz, in San Cristobal, or in Isabela, and suddenly you arrive in Floriana. And even if you know that it's going to be like less developed, sometimes people can feel this impact, and the whole experience can break a little bit. So basically, that's why we don't include Floriana on the land base, unless people is really understanding that it's going to be very basic. It's like traveling in time 200 years ago, and it is that's the way it is. It's beautiful. It has its magic. However, when you do a leave aboard and the itinerary includes Floriana, it's very nice because you take this spirit of the human history, but you're still on the yacht, on the boat. So you still don't feel this crash, this breaking, this impact on the different standards, let's say, when we're talking more about the accommodations. And these are some of our preferred yachts. We work only with first class and luxury yachts, like Elite, Endemic, or the Aquamare. Maybe you're familiar with this boat already. Eco Galaxy, Origin, the Grand Majestic, between 16 people up to 20 people capacity, 20 passengers capacity. They have 2 naturalist guides, 2 naturalist guides. They have a good number of crew there. Ample spaces, as you can see. They all have like wide windows. Some of them, they have balconies. So also that gives more comfort to the people while they are in cruise. So we're breaking this ideal of navigating in Galapagos being locked up in a cabin. The cabins in the boats we work with are very ample cabins. They have enough space for storage. So that starts breaking this myth of traveling, navigating in the Galapagos can be like a little bit claustrophobic, but the boats we use are not claustrophobic at all. They have a lot of space. So this is basically the boats we use. And well, just to finish with, basically, probably you know what are the protected areas regulations, and this is applicable to all migratory conditions. Remember, Galapagos is administered by organic law that comes from the Constitution. So in order to preserve the ecosystems and the endemic species, we have some conditions and migratory conditions. You can be either a tourist or a resident, like myself. I live here, so I am a resident. It's almost like having a green card to the United States. But we live here, and we have some regulations we have to follow, and the same when you come as a tourist. And it's every tourist have to come with a migration control card. We can easily get that sorted, that you acquire that at the airports in Guayaquil or Quito. You have to pay a protected entrance fee. We're going to see further later. And there is a biosecurity and quarantine liability form that you have to fill it out when you are on the plane, and you have to give it when you arrive in the airport. And you have to have a medical insurance. This is in the law. Nobody checks this. I have to see to be honest, but it's important that you have, because remember, if you're coming to Galapagos, there's a lot of limitations. We're going to be in the middle of the ocean, of the Pacific Ocean. So it's always a good idea to bring a medical insurance. And then these are the regulations. Sorry that this is in Spanish, but this is just straight from the national park. So remember, the entrance fee for foreigners is $100 per person. Children under 12, it's $50. If you're coming from Argentina, if you're a resident in Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, Paraguay, Peru, Uruguay, or Venezuela, the entrance fee is only $50. If children under 12, $25. And if you are a student that you're not resident in Ecuador, but you are studying in an Ecuadorian university, you only pay $25 as an adult, and well, kids under 12 the same. It's just this student special rate. And Ecuadorians, we pay $6, and children $3. Kids under 12, they don't pay this fee. Nationals or foreigners, kids, they don't pay. And something that it's very interesting, and also just so you know, if you come to the Galapagos to do a specific audiovisual productions or filming programs, you have to have permits. And there's a lot of fees, and you have to make a lot of paperwork. So normally that takes a different sort of programming. But just so you know, there are like these fees to pay. And finally, national park regulations. We always encourage people, like, when you travel to Galapagos, is more than check mark your destination, is also being part of a patrimony of humankind. And there are specific things like just come, and even if the wildlife comes very close to you, sometimes finches, you're having breakfast and they come to you, just don't feed the wildlife, because we want to keep them like they are. Remember, they came here before us. The human history here in Galapagos is just, what, 200 years old? And wildlife came here before we did. We don't have Aborigine people here. So wildlife were our Aborigines here. And we want them to keep it like it's been always. So it's like, don't feel tempted. Don't feed the wildlife. Just stay on the trails. Wildlife is so free, and sometimes iguanas or birds are nesting outside the trails. So we don't want to like disrupt this natural comportation. All visits must be accompanied by a certified naturalist guide. So there's over 800 naturalist guides in the islands. We work with certified guides that they have experience, but also that they have a history to share. So this is not just a museum where you just point out. Our guides, they share really their passion, their life, and this lifestyle in the islands, and it's combined with experiencing with wildlife. You're not allowed to drink alcohol nor light fires in the trails. We have to keep distance of 6 feet at least distance from wildlife. And we cannot take sand, coral shells, lava rocks, nor animal part, nor endemic wood out of the island. So that has happened. Sometimes people bring like little bags to bring back sand. At the airport, they are very very strong quarantine and biosecurity controls. And if they detect you have a little bit of sand, a bag of sand in your bag, they're going to call you, and they will like make a lot of issues about. So this is very important to know. And that will be it. Thank you very much. I tried to make it very quickly, sorry. So
well, you did a wonderful job, and it's really difficult to go so quick because there's so much to talk about. And I think everything you said, to me, I was captivated. It's completely interesting, and just all of these things that we don't think about you know, that go on. So you've provided an amazing perspective. We have a question. Somebody says, for a land-based tour, what is the largest size group that you could take? Like if you could speak to, you know, what typical groups are.
Yeah. Actually, thank you for the question. This is a very good question. As per the regulations, we can have maximum 16 people per naturalist guides. That means that we have a large group of 30 or 40. We have to split in maximum 16 people per guide. However, we recommend a ratio of 10 people per guide, because then you can split different interests, and you can like have a more intimate, more private. So it doesn't really matter the number of people, but it really matters how many people you go with a naturalist guide. That in our rate is 10, and the regular rate is 16.
Okay, and Sue says, can you comment on the new movement to restrict land-based stays?
Yeah, we had recently a seminar about this new model of tourism here in Galapagos. And basically what we are talking about is more than, you know, when you restrict something, you get like a backfire on it, but it's to promote a more purpose visiting. And instead of like bringing a lot of people, it's bringing people that it's really going to value and is going to add a purpose to the visit. It's not just coming, as I said in the beginning, it's just coming to just check mark Galapagos, and we have hundreds of people. And that's why it's hard to have like a restriction thing, because again, when you restrict something, it's a backfire. But there's maybe a rise on the entrance fee. They are working on it right now. Then instead of $100 can be higher. So in that way, you could be called a restriction, but you start to change the target of people coming. Exactly, we don't want Galapagos to be ruined, but there are actions that we need to be taken, and that's why, for example, we are encouraging people to do more purpose visits, not just come a massive group and just come and stay. And that's why we said it can be maximum 10 people per guide, because then you can really have a more personalized service, and you can split, but be conscious of where you're going, what you're doing, and what experience tourism is going to be. It's not just come and stay, and that's it. So that's basically.
That's a great way to address it, because it does have to be preserved. Actions need to be taken, and also Absolutely. You want the right people there that are going to understand why they're there, you know, and understand the difference of how to make an impact. But that actually brings us to another question that we have here. Somebody says, I think it's a direct question. What are the types of people that go there? Like, you know, if she was to sort of niche this down, what's the typical type of traveler that would really appreciate this kind of experience?
Well, that's a good question. I would say the people who really appreciate is the people that really understands what's going on with the planet. I think traveling in Galapagos is not only check mark. It's understanding that I'm going to a destination that when I come back, it's going to be a transformation on my way of living. So people who comes to Galapagos, I mean, what's the target beyond the how can I say, the acquisitive capacity? It's why are you coming to Galapagos? Are you coming to really understand what's going on with the planet, to really understand why is a patrimony of humankind? Or you're coming just because you want to go to Las Vegas, and I have nothing against Las Vegas, but you want to go to Las Vegas and there are no flights, and then you go to the next one, Galapagos. So it's really purpose. I think the people who travels to Galapagos needs to be very conscious about the purpose of the travel, and what you want in terms of transformational aspects when you come to Galapagos.
Okay, so more of a, just an understanding about exactly what you said, the planet, what is happening.
Exactly.
Right. That makes sense. No, I think the efforts are being taken properly to keep it how it is. And I know, and I was just shocked there. I mean, it really is, like you said, stepping back in time on one of the islands, but I think the whole place is just stepping back in time. It's really hard to imagine until you've been. So I think it should be on everybody's list, but for the right reasons, obviously. So if we have any more questions, just type them here, obviously. But you know, Monica and the entire team is always at your disposal to answer anything if you think of it later. Yes, if we could just put Monica, just type your email in the chat if you could, just so they have your information, and then we'll follow up with all of you too. I know a lot of you were asking about the presentation, so we're going to get that to you. I'm going to get it from her, and then I'm just going to blast out a WeTransfer link probably to all of you so that you can download it and you can keep it for the future, because I think this was one of the best presentations I've ever seen. This was chock full of information, and what I liked about it is you can probably use a lot of this for all of you on the call. Use it for your social sharing. I mean, a lot of these facts are really interesting. Use them on your social media, because I bet you they would prompt some engagement, you know, and people say, I didn't know that. I didn't know this. Like, that's what usually happens. And that thing was chock full of really interesting facts. So please, you know, I would encourage you to take it and use it. But this has been great, really. Monica, always a pleasure. You're amazing. We don't know how you know so much. Every time we listen to you, we're just awed. You are one of the experts I've ever met on this area of the world. So, and we're lucky to have you. So thank you. And everybody can reach out to her if they need more information or a customized quote.
Thank you, Gabby, and thank you all for taking the time. I know we don't have a lot of time to do, but as Gabby said, we are here for you. We are here in the islands, and I think this is what we try to do, to share our lifestyle, to share what the reality is here. Like someone was saying, we really want to take care of the Galapagos. We don't want Galapagos to be ruined. So I think that starts with us. And yes, feel free to use the information we're going to share with you. And everything we know that goes beyond Google. So like we say, Saint Google, that you just Google and find things. No. The information we have here, just rest assured that that's the reality. That's what's going on here in Galapagos. And everything that will come up, we're gonna tell you, and we're gonna share with you, because we really want the people that comes to Galapagos knows where they are coming. This is a patrimony of humankind that doesn't belong just to us. That belongs to you, that belongs to the world. And we're all part of the conservation of the Galapagos Islands. So thank you for your attention, and thank you for taking this time. And yes, we'll be more than happy to keep answering your questions.
Love it. Thank you so much. And we will see you guys again very soon on another cool webinar. And we really appreciate Monica's time. So thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.